Hi, I'm Al Albert, the head soccer coach at William & Mary, and to my right here is my assistant coach, John Daly. We're here to talk to you today about William & Mary soccer. And William & Mary's had some good soccer teams. This year we had one of the best. We were 15-4-2. But before we talk to you about the season, we thought you'd like to take a look at the campus. College of William & Mary was chartered in 1693 and is considered to be the second oldest college in the United States next to Harvard University. Here we are on the original campus with a front view of the Wren Building, and this is the president's house where the president of the college lives. The third building on the original campus is the Brafferton, which at one time was the Indian School. The back of the Wren Building is the entrance to the Sunken Gardens and the old campus, which comprises 6 or 7 buildings, including some old dormitories and some classrooms and administrative buildings. On a typical afternoon, students would be strolling between classes, as you see right here.
This is alongside the Sunken Gardens, the pathways there with dormitories to the right and below gymnasium down to the right-hand side.
College has about 4,000 undergraduates and 1,000 graduates in our MBA programs and law school and the like. The emphasis at William & Mary has always been on undergraduate education, and most of the PhDs on our faculties do teach undergraduate courses.
There's a very pretty shot of Crim Dell, which separates the old campus and the new campus.
Crim Dell at one time was just a swampy marsh and was restored through a gift of one of the classes, graduating classes of William & Mary. It's probably the most beautiful point on campus. The new campus is centered around the library building shown here. Most of the buildings in the new campus were built in the last 20 years, and most of the classes take place in these buildings.
This is Barksdale Field, the women's athletic field, and here you have Rogers, the chemistry building, and Millington, the science building.
There are several other classroom buildings not shown here, Jones Hall and Morton Hall, which house other academic departments.
This is William & Mary Hall, which houses the men's athletic department and is the site for home basketball games, also concerts.
We have a lot of great traditions here at William & Mary, but the one we're here to talk about today is our tradition of winning soccer. And as we both know, since 1974, we've been able to win 10 games or more a season. We had state championships in 1978, 1979, 1980, and that period was climaxed by an NCAA regional championship in 1980. In 1983, we were able to return to the tournament, and we've been searching for that NCAA bid since. Hopefully, we'll be able to achieve that next year. We've had some great individual performers, Mike Flood, an All-American from Darien, Connecticut, Bill Watson, our first All-American from Toronto, Canada, and we've got a couple of players on the team for next year at least that we think have the ability to achieve that type of status. So without saying anything more about the past, why don't we take a look at this 1985 season. This is the Davidson game, the beginning of the second half, and in this game we got 3 good goals. I'm going to take a look first at one that results from a throw-in and then a really good long cross by Glenn Livingston. Darcy Curran gets to it and hooks it back from Mike Kolaris to head into the goal. It's a great goal.
Good example there of attacking the ball in the penalty area by Mike, and certainly a great recovery by Darcy, pulling that ball back. I think that's Summers who crossed that out.
Yeah, you're right, John.
That certainly stunned Davidson. They had defended quite well, and suddenly to have a goal like that scored against you can take the wind out of your sails.
Davidson went on later in the season to beat Duke 1-0 and showed themselves to be a pretty good defensive team. Now, this is a great shot by Hart Bauer over top of Jim Kelly, the Davidson goalkeeper. And it is a bit unusual for Scott Bell to have such a bad first touch, but his bad first touch laid the ball right in there for Hart.
There's certainly very little a goalkeeper can do about a shot that's struck as well as that. In the top angle, they're pretty much unreachable. I think Hart was quite a happy fellow there.
Yep. This third goal coming up is Collaros' second of the game, and shows, I think, Mike's best attribute, and that is volleying the ball at the edge of the box. And he really picks this one out of the air. It's John Tuttle getting his ball nicked by the Davidson defender for a corner kick.
Of course, Al, I know you're going to be too modest to admit that this was your planned set piece.
This is number 5 corner.
You see Mike Collaros telling Connor to move from the space that he wants to be in, and then John delivers the ball perfectly for Mike to hit a spectacular volley.
And we don't often get them to work quite this well. It's a great shot, but when it does, it's certainly a good feeling. Collaros had a goal similar to this last year against Loyola, and probably does this better than just about anybody on the team. It's a great goal. You see Ian Peter, our goalkeeper, running up the half field to give Mike a pat on the back.
It was a shame that Mike was subbed after scoring such a good goal.
Now, this is Christopher Newport, and mixed in here with our offensive highlights, we have a really good example of Lance Holland coming to take the ball under pressure, holding on to it.
So the most difficult ball to come for, with a lot of players around in the penalty area to make your way to it and gather the ball at its highest point.
And hold it. Here Collaros really challenges well the left back, number 14, Donovan Gutsmore, from Christopher Newport, and then gets a free kick. What we have coming up here, I believe, is Scott Repke's goal. A really good header at the far post, and Scott Bell here delivers a great ball. Again, one of Scott Bell's greatest strengths is that perfectly placed ball on a free kick. Great header by Repke.
That was a very important goal, Al, if I remember. When Christopher Newport were 1-0 up at the time, and we were having a tough time with them.
Repke didn't score many this year, but ones like this that he got were really important. Of course, he was responsible for solidifying the defense at the other end of the field.
This is the goal I'm sure that Scott is going to remember for a long time. From at least 45 yards out.
I wish we could include this as one of the better goals from our standpoint, but it's actually a very bad mistake by Christopher Newport keeper Rick Longobardi. Came and called for the ball and missed the punch. This is why you teach goalkeepers technically to punch from the chest rather than give a roundhouse stroke, because he just plain missed the ball. Scott Bell's pretty happy about that one, even though he didn't touch it.
There's another good goal, good combination between Scott Bell and John Tuttle here. Tuttle knocks it inside to Bell, and then a nice little through pass, and John finishes it off really well.
Rick Longobardi did not have the best day there. He got nutmegged, I believe, by Tuttle, or went very, very close to his foot. It's the kind that very often just catch a piece of the goalkeeper and come out. Another thing to point out there is how well Ian Peter kicks the ball. That ball was received by Tuttle about 15 or 20 yards past midfield.
A bad mistake by the defender there. giving John Tuttle possession in a very dangerous area. And a good cross to the far post is knocked home by Mike Colares.
Tuttle, as you see, loves to try to nutmeg defenders, and I believe that's the right back from Christopher Newport, Mike Perkovic. Gets nutmeg there. John stops the ball, sets him up, a little touch through the legs, and he's gone. John really crosses the ball well. It's set up there for Mike to stick away.
I think Somers Hambrick came very close to getting that ball on its way across and arrived just a little bit too late.
Now here we have one of the most explosive efforts for the Tribe this year, University of California, Santa Barbara, who had just come from UVA the night before. It's not the greatest piece of scheduling, but they were a little bit tired, and we just tore them up. We have a goal from Scott Repke to Darcy Curran, a little flick at the far post.
Another set-piece goal, which is always satisfying from a coaching point of view, to work hard on set pieces and see them successful. Here is what I think one of the best goals of the season. Great control and composure by Scott. And then a little chip shot over the goalkeeper.
Scott Bell is one of those players that never really looks like he is working as hard as he could be, but that's just his style. He's a very composed player, and a lot of players, when they cut that ball back on a defender, would have just tried to hit it as hard as they could, and Scott just sends the goalkeepers off his line and chipped him.
There's another set piece with Mike Colares throwing the ball in and a flick on at the near post and a great diving header by Timmy Larkin.
Tim just missed an effort like that later in the season against GW. Would have won that game for us, but he's a gutsy player, really came on this season, and a lot of players might not have gone for that ball quite the same way. It's a heck of a goal.
Good example there, Al, of Timmy was moving as Mike threw the ball, and that's an important point for players in the penalty area, not to stand and wait. Timmy was already moving, and then when the ball arrived in front, he just accelerated and put it away. Good punch away by Lance out towards the touchline.
Now here we're down at Old Dominion in the Old Dominion Harborfront Kiwanis Classic against Boston College. And here you see that the goal does start from good defensive play, just good containment. Glenn Livingston plays a very good ball forward to John Tuttle, and this shows why Scott Bell was our leading scorer this year. Nice composed move and sliding it away. I think this is when we started to recognize the potential of the Tuttle-Bell combination as a really good blend. John's got the great left foot and the speed outside, and Scott Bell is a player that can stick the ball in the net.
Somers Hambrick winning the ball for us in the defending third.
We're at Richmond now, of course, and this game resulted in 9 goals being scored.
One there was disallowed mysteriously. I think the referee decided that John had made contact with the defender before he struck the ball in and gave Richmond a free kick. A little bit harsh.
This is an unusual goal. The ball here is headed about 4 or 5 times and ends up in the back of the net. Scott Bell with a little dink over top of the goalkeeper at the end of it. There's a good job there to keep the ball alive just in any way you can. This is something that obviously we practice, and trying to get little flicks and touches around the box, and we got a goal there.
It was a great run by Timmy Larkin that time, tripped inside the penalty area, and the referee, no hesitation, awards a penalty.
Timmy Larkin is one player that from midfield can certainly go by players, and he does try to get into the box, and we didn't get many penalties this year, but that was a timely one. That was a tying goal right there.
This was another of those games, Al, with a much improved team coming into Carey Field and giving us a very, very tough time. We were able to come up with the big goals. Glenn Livingston.
This was a great goal at the time. Again, a tying goal. And I don't think that Glenn hit that quite as sharply as he normally does, but it was just the right place to beat the goalkeeper.
Nice turn by John Tattle, and a right foot cross to the far post is headed back by Scott Bell, and Glenn comes in for his second goal.
I think that that's probably the first time that John Tuttle had done that particular move in a game. It surprised everybody. I think even John was a little bit surprised that it came to him.
I think it's the first time John Tuttle's ever crossed the ball with his right foot, isn't it?
Possibly.
Jonas Cedergren getting on the end of a flick on there and finishing it with, I believe there was about a minute and a half left in overtime to win the game for us.
Jonas is one of those players that doesn't stand out in practice particularly, and in some respects is not exceptional, but as a freshman he had 8 goals in 8 different games, and 4 of them were game winners and arrived late in the game to save games for us. Expect a lot from him next year.
It's the George Mason game here, and a very controversial incident there when I think it was Freddie Thompson saved the ball on the line with his arm, and the referee missed it. The ball was on its way into the corner of the net. Rich Miranda clearing the ball upfield. Here's a great run by John Tuttle, showing his speed, getting away from the last defender who tried to trip him, and then John just hitting the post with his shot.
William & Mary hasn't had a forward with the kind of speed that John Tuttle has had in a long time.
There's more
Really
good
important.
defensive play here by Summers Hambrick. Again, setting up an attack with his second attempt that time. Of course, this game, as it turned out, was the deciding game. Had we beaten George Mason, we would more than likely have received that NCAA bid. As it turned out, they got it. Here's Scott Bell going in for a ball and being tripped for a penalty.
It's a little bit of a questionable decision by the referee, but taken out of context because he had probably missed the one earlier when Thompson handled the ball, and there were a string of events leading up to that decision. But it was still good to get that goal and go into the locker room just 1 goal down instead of 2. Scott Bell has not missed a penalty at William & Mary, and it's nice to have that kind of person to take those kicks.
There's a great attacking play by John Tuttle, beating 3 or 4 defenders and setting up a goal for Scott Bell. There's 1, 2, 3. Ran past another one. And a power drive from Scott Bell from 4 yards.
Again, I think we're going to see a lot of that combination next year. There's a lot of potential for goals to be scored in that manner.
That goal came about 10 minutes from the end, if I remember. Alan set up 10 minutes of an onslaught by us. It was unfortunately not enough.
Well, I think some people will probably remember that the last 2 times we played Mason and Cary Field, we've had great come-from-behind wins, and I think those people that were there in the stadium that day, were probably, including us, were expecting something to happen. And it's great to, have that expectation. We had a couple of great chances here. I think this is one coming up right now, where John Tuttle knocks the ball in. Scott Bell arrives just a second too late to flick the ball by goalkeeper Mike Benitez. Now this is our final game of the season. It was not a very competitive game. It was the final result 6-0 over Methodist. But we have a couple of good goals in this game. The first one here is Rich Miranda doing a 1-2 with Scott Bell, and a great shot to the upper corner. This was the final game for our 7 seniors, and Rich, as our senior, it was very fitting that he got the winning goal and the first goal of the game.
Certainly struck that ball very well on the volley.
Bill Eisner knocking the ball in, and Rich Miranda gives Hart Bauer A good little touch, and Hart sticks another good goal away.
Very quick release there, Al, from Hart once he turned on that ball, got his first touch on it, and then very sharp release.
John Tuttle and an overlapping run by Tim Larkin.
Here's an example of a very good header from Scott Bell.
And again, a typical Scott Bell goal where the ball is basically lobbed over top of the goalkeeper, not really rammed down and hard.
Good overlap by Timmy Larkin, a little bit fortunate the defender made a mistake there.
The assist is from, again, the senior Bill Eisner.
That was Scott Bell tying the William & Mary all-time
Right,
score.
Scott goes into next season with 36 career goals, tying Kip Germain's mark, which was set in 1978. And it's possible that a couple of freshmen this year, John Tuttle and Jonas Cedergren, had good enough freshman years that they could possibly catch him.
Here's another example of Jonas being in the 6-yard box and the ball coming back off the goalkeeper, and Jonas sticks that long leg out and pokes it in the net.
I know in other sports we might call that kind of player a garbage man.
Of course, our goals are what people tend to remember from games, but we know that in order to have a successful soccer team, you need to have a good defense. And we're going to show you a few instances now of good defensive plays by our players, whether they be interceptions or just good tackles that take the ball from the opposition and get us back on the attack again.
Here's another good example against Christopher Newport of Lance Holland coming out, attacking the ball in the air. That's the one we saw earlier. Christopher Newport was a team that had some good players in the air and really challenged the goalkeeper.
Now it's getting a second bite of that one and grabbing it.
Lance has worked hard to improve in the air, and he's certainly gutsy in those situations.
The concentration from Adam Hogue here.
And good support by Marty Taylor. And we get the throw-in.
Summers handbrake. This player was very, very dangerous, tricky player, but again, there's good concentration. Summers staying in tight all the time and not falling for any of the fakes by the opponent.
Ian Peters showing a little bit of guts there, too, taking the ball right at Fred Thompson's feet against George Mason. Marty Taylor with the interception. And a good effort for finding John Tuttle with the long ball.
Darcy Cullen getting up very high there.
Now, Darcy's a player that next year will obviously be a very important player for us in the air. We need some good targets.
This was a great job by Summers that day, marking Sam Sumo. Of course, Sumo scored in the very last minute, but he is a very, very dangerous player, and Summers did a tremendous job of marking him out of the game. Wherever Sumo went, Summers was sure to follow. Isn't that a nursery rhyme?
Ian Peter there showing that he has good ability to read the game and is not afraid to come out of the box and use his feet to clear the ball. This is Adam Hogue against Andy Hay, who's probably one of the quickest players we play against. Again, Hay going into the, or Sumo going into the box. And Ian Peter making one of the best saves of the season, probably, just a deflection by the post. Hay again. And it's hard to substitute for speed in those situations.
John Tuttle with an acrobatic clearance. Sumo going through, but a great tackle by Scott Repke.
And we see those kind of tackles from Repke about once every game. And it's to me the most spectacular part of our defense is that saving tackle.
Again, Hay 1 against 1 with Hoagie, but Hoagie equal to it and winning a goal kick on that occasion.
I think Mason's certainly one of the most explosive teams that we played against. Our defense, in spite of the result, I thought did a very nice job.
Marty Taylor staying close there, being helped out by Scott Bell.
Scott's always pushing people around in the game because of his tremendous physical strength.
Yeah.
And this is a good reaction save by Lance Holland against Methodist, just getting a hand out to push the ball away. Well, John, defense is certainly important, and as we know, the defense keeps you in the game a lot of times, but I think what we want to look at now is some other aspects of our offense, not just the goals being scored, but some of the good examples of dribbling and passing and just smart and skillful attacking play that gets us going. We had two fellas up front, John Tuttle and Scott Bell, who certainly did a lot of work, didn't always result in goals, but let's take a look at some of the examples of what they did this year. Lance Holland here getting the ball out quickly to Marty Taylor.
Nice flick from Eddie Perry infield to Mike Colares running at the defense.
A good effort by Mike. Struck sharply, and Rick Longobardi holds it well from Christopher Newport.
Darcy Curran winning the ball in midfield. Nice bit of control. Just a little bit too long there for Scott Bell. Rich Wong. John Tuttle trying a surprise shot there. Nearly caught the goalkeeper napping.
John Tuttle receiving the ball in his customary position out on the left flank and getting a good cross blocked by the right back from Christopher Newport.
Scott Bell's quick free kick to John and the shot well saved by the Christopher Newport goalkeeper. Glenn Livingston playing the ball out to John again, 1 against 1. Scott Bell not quite able to get enough power on that header to beat the goalkeeper. A good free kick from Scott Repke.
Tuttle here again showing the speed, and that was a real good save by Rick Longobardi. That ball just about beat him.
Corner by Scott Bell.
That's probably the most dramatic goal, or near goal, of the season, where Glenn Livingston hit the bar solidly from about 12 yards with his head. Nice little flick, and Jonas Cedergren almost gets a chance out of it. Eddie Perry with the flick.
It's a very good ball from Mike Colares to Scott, and good control by Scott. Adam Hogue breaking up an attack.
This is Tuttle's run again against George Mason, and a near miss, hitting the near post with the ball. This George Mason game was a key game for us. We went into the game knowing that if we beat them, we would have still a chance for the NCAA tournament. And it was just an odd game, 2 goals directly from free kicks against us, which we hadn't given up all year. It was really kind of a frustrating day for us, but didn't play badly at all. A few near misses and a couple of odd goals were the difference. And Mason definitely one of the most explosive attacking teams that we've played this year. Tuttle there showing his potential.
John again giving the right back a torrid time there.
One of the key factors in the Mesa game also was the absence of our center midfielder, Glenn Livingston, known as the Rock, who really was the rock of our team this year in the middle. Also, Mike Collaros did not play a great deal because of a bad back, so we had two of our better seniors in the midfield out. I think Tuttle would have to be considered the man of the match for us that day, and showing there his dominance of Bob Lilly, the right back from Mason. And that was the opportunity we saw earlier with Scott Bell. This is the Boston College game again, and see a good long ball there. I think this is what most opponents have as a picture of Scott Bell. When is he going to cross the ball? We're never quite sure, but there it is. And John Tunnell just misses the near post, the far post with a header. This is an unusual play coming up here. Glenn Livingston gets a ball, plays Scott Bell in, and he's off to the races, except for a little bit of a rugby tackle there from de Guzman from Boston College, and what we would call a professional foul.
To everyone's surprise, the referee only gave the player a yellow card for that, and probably deserved a red card.
And uncharacteristically, here's Scott Bell's answer, which is not particularly smart play, but under the circumstances, understandable. And this is second bit of abuse that Scott takes here. And again, late in the game, the referee not anxious to send a player off. He'd already sent a player off, and we were up 3-1. So he's just going to smooth that one over. Scott's not real happy about it, though.
Scott showing how difficult he is to contain in those situations. His turns are so sharp. Switching the point of the attack there from the right touchline to the left touchline. John Tuttle going in on goal.
Good example again of John Tuttle's trickiness. Just a little step over move and he's gone. Mike Collaros wanted a goal very badly that day, didn't get one in his last game as a senior. And a good bit of control there by Scott Bell. Methodist obviously packing the defense, making it very difficult for players to find a real opening.
Adam Hogue working hard, supporting his forwards there.
It's a good combination there, 1-2 with Scott Repke and Hart Bauer, and a long cross, and then back in for Collaros, a near miss. We've got a good number of left-footed players. Scott Bell is left-footed, of course. John Tuttle, Darcy Kern. When that ball goes out to the left side, we usually get something constructive done with it. And Scott Bell with an uncharacteristic attempt from outside the box, a driven ball. This is Connor Farley, one of our freshmen this year, who didn't get a lot of playing time. He's got very good skill. Shows he can give a good ball forward there to Richard Wong.
And a little bit of juggling, knocking the ball back to Ian Peter.
This is Ronnie Rabb, another freshman who came on as a reserve in several games and getting forward, giving the ball and getting forward. And then Doug Anakin with the stroke of the game. Well, John, 1985 was certainly a good year for William & Mary soccer. We finished with one of the best records that we've had in the history of the program, 15-4-2. We had some outstanding individual performances, and we beat American University, who went to the national championship game 1-0 at their own field. But I think at the same time, we both recognized that we didn't achieve a couple of our big goals, and that is to win our league championship, the Colonial Athletic Association, which is becoming one of the toughest soccer leagues in the country, and also getting that third NCAA bid. And hopefully we can do this next year. We've got a tremendous schedule for next year, opening up with the University of Connecticut away in Storrs, Connecticut, in front of about 4,000 or 5,000 people, hopefully. And we're taking that big West Coast trip for the first time, going out to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and California State, LA. And I think if we can get a couple of key people to replace some of those big holes that are left by our graduating seniors, that hopefully we can achieve some of those goals in 1986.
At forward, a freshman from Fairfax, Virginia, number 10, John Tuttle. At forward, a junior from Hamilton, Ontario, number 7, Scott Bell. At midfield, a sophomore from La Jolla, California, number 2, Summers Hambrick. At midfield, a junior from Newport News, Virginia, number 4, Darcy Curran. At midfield, a senior from Great Falls, Virginia, number 8, Mike Caleres. Also in midfield, a senior from Miami, Florida, number 14, Hart Bauer. At fullback, a senior from Toronto, Ontario, number 11, Rich Miranda. Also at fullback, a senior from Bethesda, Maryland, number 12, Bill Eisner. At fullback, a senior from Fairfax, Virginia, number 3, Adam Hogue. Also at fullback and the senior captain of the tribe from Fairfax, Virginia, number 15, Scott Repke. And in goal for the tribe, a sophomore from Barry, Wales, Ian Peter.
Now, Pete, I really expected William & Mary to be a little bit more effective on even their longer set pieces.
Yeah, I think they're just rushing them a little bit. They're not getting complete position there.
Ball was played in by Mike Caleres and a tremendous header by Scott Bell.
Oh, tremendous effort by Bell there.
Some of the beauty of the game of soccer demonstrated right there. Scott Bell, a diving header just wide of the bar. A nice piece of football.
Bell is another member of that band that I was mentioning earlier, that Todd Middlebrook and Hart Bauer
These
started
are
up.
the Rockers, huh?
No, well, yeah, these
Do
are,
they have a name?
The name is just plain. It's Scum.
That's the name.
Yes.
The punk rock crowd.
Uniquely bad band, I think, but they're very interesting.
Corner kick again, looking to exploit
Great
that near
header.
post. Scott Smith fans on that one. Ball still not really in control. No foul there.
You have to be careful not to foul here.
Tell you, I'm impressed with Greg Brown from Hartwick, number 17. He's had a tremendous ability to
play.
control the ball. And Scott Bell on the counterattack plays to Keith Exton, and he has control. William and Mary is set up. And he loses it across the touchline.
Troy, as you were saying earlier, William Mary's not attacking up the right side. I don't know why that is, but Keith was the only player that Scott had.
There's a tremendous goal!
Oh, that was tremendous.
Darcy Kern from 35 yards out, and there's no doubt in my mind, Michael Harrison, he was shocked that that came in.
That's one of the finest shots you'll see. That was just a tremendous, tremendous shot. Darcy's just tremendous shot.
Michael Harrison, prior to the shot, I don't have to look at him, he didn't expect it.
He was out of position, Charlie. He was about 8 to 10 yards off the goal line, and you can't stop a shot like that when you're that far out.
No try!
That was
William
a
and Mary
fine goal.
takes that 1-goal lead. Keith Exton controls. And Repke plays forward. Repke with possession. Nice ball. Scott Bell unbelievably hits the goalpost. Tremendous effort by Scotty Bell. That's some great work. Glenn Livingston providing a great header. to knock
That
in.
would have been the goal of the match had that gone in. That was,
I believe so. That's Scott Bell's strength, though, isn't it? His ability to
finish and to just strike the balls cleanly. He's just
throw in Glenn Livingston, and he is strong. Well driven in there.
shoot that.
Finish. Oh, yes, a super goal. Timmy Larkin finishes. And did William and Mary need it or what? Tremendous stuff.
That was a very fine goal.
Seems like a new team. They're just injected with confidence. It's Bill Eisner, number 18.
Nice play there.
To DeCharia.
I think that's been the breakdown all game. They get the ball down the side, send in the middle, and they just don't succeed in doing anything from then on. There have been exceptions, of course, like Bell's great shot, but
Well, I'm sure Al will have a lot to evaluate. Good and bad. And I think we have seen a lot of positive elements today. And Scott Bell is through! Oh, he's been taken down! There's no doubt there. Penalty kick.
that's no question. That's about as clear a penalty as you'll ever see.
That's true. He had beaten the goalkeeper, Michael Harrison. He had open goal, one step away from the ball. And time has run out, but the penalty will be taken. There can be no doubt there. That's pretty much the classic
Yes.
foul.
I believe Scott will take this kick. He was taking some kicks yesterday. I'm not quite sure, but I think he may have been designated as the penalty kicker for the team. He strikes the ball very well.
I believe it may make the game a little bit more representative as well on the final tally.
Yes, I think the second half, William Mary's had the better of the play, with the exception of those first few minutes where Hartwick just got those 3 quick goals.
And it is a credit. Goal scoring is a critical element for William and Mary this year, and there are 2 goals on the board now and a good opportunity to make it 3.
That's true.
If they can produce that 2, 3, 4 goals a game, they'll be competitive with anyone, I believe. Scotty Bell takes it, puts it away. Fine job.
That does make the final score a little bit more representative and respectable in the eyes of the rest of the people who will hear about this game.
And I believe we'll have to see if there is any time left now. Jack White stopped the clock at the penalty with, it seemed like merely seconds to go. On the foul, and Repke knocks it in. Driven ball. Poorly cleared. That's Scott Bell with control inside the box. Turns nicely with 2 teams. Great! Excellent play there. And a handball is called.
Scott really made a very nice and very deceptive turn there. And Glenn made a nice attempt for that. Very close to being a goal there.
And this is a dangerous play. Nicely done. Livingston over the top. Todd Middlebrook. And two poor efforts there. Fine play by Scott Bell there to lay that ball off Rich Miranda, who had a very fine opportunity for a goal there, but unfortunately he just didn't connect well. Scott Bell has just really solidified the William & Mary attack with some nice play, composed. Well, that's an example right there. He had a very nice touch. I mean, he's got excellent composure up front. He can touch the ball off to other players and score goals himself, of course. Peter, is it necessary? It's hard to say, Charles. We talked before before the game. This referee likes to blow the whistle a lot and likes to put a lot of people in the book, and he does keep control of the game. But I'm not. There it is! Todd Middlebrook on the goal. Super stuff. Great play. That's a example of what William & Mary's been looking for all year, the set play. They've traditionally been very, very successful on their set plays, and there, I guess Scott Repke started up a fine ball, and William & Mary went up for it, and Todd just tremendous header. Beat the goalkeeper, put it in the back of the net. And Scott Repke to take the free kick. Scored on a similar play in the first half, Repke to Todd Middlebrook. Driven in. That was a great full volley goal. He just ran onto that from a good 12 yards away. Tremendous shot there. At 43:58 in the first half. That's a nice way to open up a half there. Mike has always been able to shoot the ball, except this year he's been not quite connecting just right, except he connected on that one just right. Austin, and Perry just over the top. Great touch. That's Scott Bell again. His strength is playing with his back to the goal. Oh, Dennis Smith well out. It hits the goal post, and Perry knocks it over the top. Dennis Smith, well off his line to challenge Miranda, misses the ball. An excellent opportunity for William & Mary, and Perry cannot finish it.
That was good to see there. That player, as he ran past Steve Koukoulas there, they just quickly shaked hands. That's good to see.
Bo Eskay at the ball. Just losing that one, though. And Scott Bell plays it to DeShira.
That's a nice turn by Tuttle. Maybe a bit fortunate there to get a free kick. It was a nice turn, but I thought the defender just happened to be in the right place, and I didn't see too much of a foul.
Scott Bell with a quick kick. Oh, some great stuff there. Great header by Ricky DeHaan. Back to Bo Eskay, who just put it over the post.
That's the kind of situation, I think, Tom, that's going to catch teams by surprise, because that ball looked to be too high from Ricky, but he is such an excellent jumper that I know defenders will look and say, oh, well, that one's gone, and then he'll just sky up there and knock it back in. That was a great try.
Scott Bell did a good job there capitalizing on a quick kick. Saw that Loyola perhaps was a bit out of position.
Sorry, son, that really was a bad decision by Ian, and then it was a kind of a lackadaisical approach after he made it. I think he was fortunate that Bo Eskay was tracking back there hard and was able to knock the ball away. Otherwise, Loyola Ford just had to nod the ball into an empty net.
Bo Eskay doing quite a bit of running. We've seen him up front and in the back.
That's a great turn by Scott Bell, but he's still not shaking the defender off, and they're getting players in around him. I think William & Mary got to, in those situations, if Tuttle and Bell get so double teamed, we've got to start thinking about switching the ball quickly and finding the open man. There's a bad tackle.
Foul there on number 9, Joe Barger. Just took Tuttle's feet out right from under him.
Joe's left a couple of bruises on the backs of some legs already. He was when he hit Scott Bell with a pretty late tackle early on.
And Scott will take the kick. Might be looking far post here to Bruce Ensley. There's Ricky DeHaan. Great header, that's a goal for William and Mary. Ricky DeHaan with a great header. Right over the goalkeeper's head, caught him out of position.
Well, that really was a classic header from Ricky. He really skied there. I find it difficult to understand why a goalkeeper the size of the Loyola goalkeeper could get beaten over his head, but I think it may have been disbelief at seeing Ricky get so high. We have about 10 minutes to go to 10 minutes ago to half time, Tom.
Ricky DeHaan with a great shot. There's Ronnie Rabb and a goal.
That is great. That was a tremendous volley by Ricky, and the ball popped out. And Ronnie Rabb showed against Mary Washington that he has the ability to snap up the half chances, and he was there. The ball fell for him, but that was the kind of ball. I can't commend Ronnie enough on that. There was no power on that ball when it came to him, and it took a real crack of his head to get enough power on to put it in the far corner. He took it really well.
Ronnie plays into the box.
That was a great tackle by Sapinski there. That was a foul by Darcy, and an unnecessary foul. Ball's in a bit higher here because those line drive balls, they've got a couple of really big fellas there, unless Ricky's the target.
That's a good flick by Scott Bell there.
Nearly got his head on that.
Marty Taylor for William Mary with the ball. Plays a quick one back in.
He's onside.
Ricky DeHaan with a goal.
Ricky DeHaan with his second goal. That was superb. He really, he spotted everything. He took his time. The ball was knocked in by Guido, and Ricky saw the keeper coming and very calmly just lifted it over his head.
I think that might have been Marty Taylor that played that in, and that was some good heads-up play to see him open there.
Was it Marty who knocked the
I think
cross
it was.
in there?
Might have been. I think it was Marty.
Whoever. It was a great cross, and I know Loyola have been showing their unhappiness with that and moaning at Vanderwalk about it. But from where we are seated here, you could clearly see that that last defender in about the right back position played everyone on. I think Loyola will be saying, hey, there's no way we should be 3-1 down. We've pretty much had most of the game. Now come on, let's get out there and grab a quick goal and see if we can make more of a competitive match of this.
William Mary, I think, needs to work on being a bit stronger in the second half. They had weaker second halves against UConn and Mary Washington. And a referee a yellow card there against Loyola for tugging on the jersey, I think.
Well, that fella's been giving Scott a bit of attention all through the game, and he got away with a lot in the first half, and I think that one was a little bit too blatant. Scott had really turned him inside out, and he just grabbed at him, so Vander Walker has decided enough's enough.
That was Jeff Nathan's number 20, the defender for Loyola, who got Loyola winning in the air there.
Bruce Ensley is having a little bit more of a say in what's going on in there. That's good play by Timmy.
Timmy likes to show his speed on the side.
He's got Ricky open. Deflection, Scott may dummy that.
Oh, what a great shot, but that was a nice
Bruce
save
Ensley,
as well.
Good save, yeah.
Timmy Larkin here with a throw.
Scott backing off, opening space up in front for himself there. He's beaten that defender so easily.
Good
That's
ball.
A great play.
John Tuttle challenging in there, couldn't quite get a foot on it. Scott Bell's such a dangerous player when he gets the ball down in the corners. And that's Scott Bell on the far side. Richard McBride, good defending against him. And Darcy Curran playing back to Marty Taylor. Good stuff there from Darcy Curran. Gets it into John Tuttle. A dangerous cross. Right there, Scott Bell. puts that one in the back of the net. A great cross from John Tuttle. Good play from Darcy Curran. Scott Bell, his first goal of the season, coming off that long suspension. That sets the all-time scoring record for William & Mary. Scott Bell, his 37th career goal here at William & Mary. That sets the record. He's been working for that one for a long time. Good to see there. A great cross from John Tuttle. And some aggressive play from Darcy Curran in the midfield. Scott Bell with the ball in the corner. And he is taken down by Richard McBride. And William & Mary will have a free kick very close to the corner, so it'll be much like a corner kick here. John Tuttle is open, and Scott Bell using him. And he has a quick shot just wide, though. Gets a long throw off to Ricky DeHaan. And a bicycle kick there from Scott Bell, the top of the 6-meter box. Great stuff there. Great goal by Scott Bell, his second one of the game. Goal by number 7. He finds the far post. Great throw there from Steve Kukulis. Got it on to Ricky DeHaan, who flicked it over to Scott Bell. And Scott Bell off the bicycle kick. That puts William & Mary ahead 2-1. Fine goal there. Ian Peters set the kick. And he hits a good kick, gets it up to John Tuttle. John Tuttle, nice move there. But again, 3 defenders collapse on him. Finds John Tuttle, finds it right back. Scott Bell tips it to him, and he puts it in the far corner. And John Tuttle with a goal puts it up 3-1 for William & Mary. Goal by John Tuttle. Good flick there from Scott Bell on the assist, as he just touched that back to John Tuttle, and he put it away. I believe that's John's second goal of the season. So it's good to see that combination, Scott Bell, John Tuttle again. I'm sure on each opportunity to let some clock run down. Plays down for John Tuttle. And that one stays in bounds, and Summers finds it right back. And Ronnie Rabb with an opportunity here. He takes a shot, a great shot there from Ronnie Rabb. A blast, and he finds the upper near corner. Ronnie Rabb fooling the goalkeeper, Steve Feil. He might have been looking for the far post there, and Ronnie Rabb snuck it right in the upper near corner. And that puts William & Mary up 4-1.
Peter taking his time. Tell you, William & Mary at this point, again, they could handle a tie okay record-wise. They wouldn't mind leaving the field right now and take a 0-0 verdict. They can't win it. In the middle, Sumo. Pacheco, that was Carter. And Tuttle trying to get something going for his team. And a great opportunity for Bell, just wide.
There was a chance.
Dumpy took the gamble. Remember in the first half, Dick, when Peter came out, Dumpy did almost the exact same thing. And Bell was coming in from a tough angle, and that turf is a little loose today. He might have slipped.
Well, it's a slightly different situation, Bob. This time,
Dumpy's made a couple of big plays for the Patriots, but the GMU midfield, I think, has done an especially good job defensively. And taken away from behind by Ensley. Bell, great save by Dunphy. Now, was Dunphy in just the position where he wanted to be that time for that shot, Dick?
He was in great position. He still made a great save to boot.
Yes.
He is one fabulous goalkeeper. I've never seen a better one in college soccer. That
probably
was
the save of the game so far.
Save. Yes, it was.